Hey everyone, welcome to Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet. My name is Matthew Stoner.
My name is Patrick Nisley.
I'm Chris McKeever.
And I'm Chaz Formichella.
Hey,
hello.
Welcome.
Two kids in a big coat.
That's
Two
us.
kids
Yeah.
in a big coat.
In a big coat. In a big coat.
Two
Kids.
in a big coat.
Yeah.
We've name dropped you in almost every episode for the past 15 episodes,
Well,
and here you are.
I think it's about time. I think it's about time that we've been on the show. Thank you very much for having us.
We're
Thank you for
super
being
excited to be here.
You guys are here to talk about Twitch and streaming and what that life is like, talk about some of the platforms that are out there, and then
It is for sure our entire lifestyle.
yeah, the lifestyle you're here to talk about.
I just want to very clearly disclaimer at the very beginning. We've been doing it for a very short amount of time.
We're having fun though.
But we're having a lot of fun. And we've been doing it for a little while, so.
Yeah, you'll hear that segment later in this episode. And also in this episode, we have some news and rumors, as always, talking about Gamescom that happened in Germany, Patrick.
Is happening in Germany.
Happening right now. We'll get into that, about some cool stuff that got announced, as well as some false things about Nintendo trade-in program for the new hardware, and some rumors in September Direct.
So, real quick, shout out. David Howe is not here. This is the first episode we've done without David.
It is.
So that's sad. But the positive is that he's not here because he is at a screening of his movie that he directed called Call Me Brother. They have a screening right now, which obviously you can't attend if you're listening to because it's in the past. But there's another screening this Sunday Sunday, August 25th at Alamo Drafthouse in Austin. Google it and go see it if you're in the area.
Can I just give a plug for Call Me Brother? It is such a good, funny, weird film. I loved it so much.
Me too.
It's like one of those movies that like some 15-year-old kid is going to find in the back end of Netflix one day and be like, oh, fuck, someone made a movie for me. You know what I mean? Like it's like perfect, niche, hilarious, sweet. It's great.
It is very good.
Really.
And we're not just saying that because David's our friend.
Who?
Also, a quick shout out to a listener, Nathan Elder, who talked on our last show. We were talking about one of our last shows. We were talking about missing game rentals, and they mentioned looking into your local library, which is a really great tip because a lot of libraries do have video games. Unfortunately, the city of Austin, where we are, the library does not have video games. However, I live in Pflugerville, and the city of Pflugerville does have video games. However, they don't have Switch games. So, roller coaster, you guys, right there.
That was up and down.
First you told us no, then yes, and then no again.
But if you're in some other municipality that has a decent library, you should definitely check it out because they might have Switch games. Some do.
Yeah, definitely only go to the library for video games.
Knowledge is power. I learned that from a video game.
So, we'll get into the news and rumors for the week. Sound good?
I'll get this first one.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate.
This is important to me. There was a new trademark filed by Game Freak, which is the development arm who makes Pokemon. But they have a trademark for...
It's not Chris Angel's
no.
development arm?
No, that's Mind Freak. Yes, I know who that is.
Game
Freak! Trademark, instead of town, what we've been calling it, what I've been calling it forever, it's now maybe called Little Town Hero.
How do you feel about that, Matthew?
I feel excited. That's maybe forward progression.
They picked a name.
You know,
it's an important part.
That's the start of naming your child. And
and the end of naming your child.
And the end.
Once you name them.
I'm excited
Matt,
for this.
I've listened to several episodes of this, and town has come up multiple times.
Yeah.
Never once has there been anything explained about it. I'm just curious what it is and why you like it.
I don't know.
Town is an upcoming video game by Game Freak, other than Pokemon, and I think it was kind of just a joke at first.
Yeah, it was a joke at first. To what started as a joke is now turned into admiration.
Great.
Yeah, sincere bit.
But you don't actually know what it's... you just know it's a game by Game Freak.
That's what part of what made the joke so much is they announced this game, and then there's just been radio silence about it.
Okay, cool.
And
they announced a game without a title?
they said town working title.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they just announced the working title, and this was back in, I want to say February that they announced it, give or take. I could be wrong. It might have been March. But at any rate.
Oh, it was September of last year.
Oh, was it September of last year
it was
they
the
first
September
announced
Direct.
it?
Whoa.
Well,
Listen, I've watched that Direct many times.
at any rate, they announced it a long time ago, and we've not heard anything about it. So, and they said it was coming this year.
Okay.
Which it's not, obviously, at this point.
I'm really happy to be a part of this joke.
Thank you so much for enlightening us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm all on the board, the Little Town Hero train. I'm all about it. Game
People are
Freak.
screaming at their phones right now that I made you explain a joke that they all loved until this moment when I fucking killed it.
Well, those of
live
us
forever?
who wouldn't have gotten it, thank you.
So, moving on, a new Bubble Bobble game got announced, which is cool because I have a lot of nostalgia for Bubble Bobble.
This is called Bubble Bobble 4, number 4, Friends.
Yeah, and I guess the idea there is it's like a 4-player potential game. I don't know if there's been a lot about it. There's like a trailer, I think, and some screenshots we've seen. And I played Bubble Bobble on the NES, and I know there's been a bunch of games since then, but I don't think there's been like a mainline one in a while, just like mobile games and stuff. And in fact, what I always think about with Bubble Bobble is it ruined some two of my friends' friendship when we were all little because they were playing Bubble Bobble and were on the last boss or whatever on the last stage. And they paused it because one of them had to go to the bathroom, and then the other one unpaused it while they were in the bathroom, and they died. And they were not friends for many years after that.
Whoa.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
Seems
So fair.
So that's what I think of when I'm excited about this. Hopefully it won't ruin any friendships, though.
Well, this game does say 4 friends.
Do you think
So,
I'll
you
understand
guys
it
can
if
play.
I didn't play Bubble Bobble 3 Friends?
This is
think
the
I'll-
4th
can I pick it up?
mainline Bubble Bobble.
Can I pick it up here or do I have to go back?
You should probably go back.
Okay. It's a serial
do you think
franchise.
you think Bubble Bobble 4 Friends is going to have couch co-op that 2 people can play? Because if so, I think we should look into streaming that game.
Yeah, that's sort of important to us.
So next up, this is kind of big news in some ways. The Nintendo 2019 World Championships that happened back in June at E3 that they streamed are now going to be shown on CBS later this month on August 25th. And then I think weekly after that on Saturday nights or Saturday afternoons, depending on your time zone. I'm not real sure. Saturdays. And at first, I think we all saw this news. Matt, you were the first person that shared it with me, and we all got super pumped. Like, ooh, there's going to be a new championship shown on TV. And
On
then
broadcast television.
and that's cool, but then we realized that it's actually the thing that's already happened, and it's not anything new. So that kind of took the wind out of those sails for me. Still glad that it's going to be on CBS. That's interesting and cool. I think there's been some other esports on main networks before, but not much.
What games are represented in those championships? I assume like Splatoon.
Splatoon, Smash,
Smash.
and Mario Maker
Okay.
2. And they were all okay tournaments. I've already seen them. So, like, it's kind of like, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but have you seen them with commercials?
Maybe they'll add some additional, like, behind the scenes interviews
Commentary
or
or
something. But
Who was invited for Mario Maker 2? Do you remember?
yeah, it was a few streamers. There's 4 streamers. The only one I remember who their name, because I've seen her, is Dragon Feeney. And then
Oh,
there
yeah.
were 3 other people.
Feeney.
Like, I forget their names because I've never watched them stream the game. But Dragon Feeney and 3 other people.
Okay. I might look up to see who those people were.
Yeah.
Definitely should.
And then this was kind of an interesting turn because a few weeks ago we talked about how EA, the CEO for EA at like an investors meeting said they don't really think the Switch is a good platform for a lot of their games. And then we had another different EA employee sort of say the opposite just recently in an interview with Game Informer, saying how they're looking to bring more of their successful games to the Switch. And that was, I think, according to Game Informer, it was their chief studios officer, Laura Meal. I don't know how you say her name. So that's kind of weird. Hopefully they bring games, because why not? EA has... I don't understand why they wouldn't want their games on the Switch. Maybe they realized when the backlash to that statement or something. So... speaking of backlash, Animal Crossing, a lot of people are upset that it's not going to have cloud saves. So somebody started a petition, and the because we all know the internet petitions get a lot done.
I got change.org always helps.
But even if they don't get a lot done, they at least bring awareness, and this has gotten a lot of articles written about it. And there's been a ton of people signing up for it. In fact, I was on it earlier today just to see how many people had signed, and like the numbers were ticking up as I was watching it. And I've clicked on it now, and the numbers are ticking up. So over 13,000 people have signed it. And nope, they're going up and up as I'm watching it. So I guess that's bringing a lot of awareness to that. I don't think Nintendo's going to change their mind though about cloud saves for Animal Crossing. I guess they don't want people to save scum, right?
Is that what the thing is?
Yeah, they don't want, because like you can, reset your game, call up the cloud save, and then try to get a better whatever. But why? There's got to be a better solution, right? Like save backups once a week or something, or I don't even know. Also, who cares if fucking people save scum in single player games? Like, what's the big deal?
Just let people min-max as much as they want.
Yeah, it's like I'm playing Fire Emblem a lot right now, and you can't save in the middle of the battle. You can actually do like a one temporary save, and I know it's so you can't save scum. You can't like go back a turn, but it's like, so what? I'm just playing on my own. If I want to cheat. Like, is that really a big deal? Just let me save my game.
You've not only cheated the game, but also yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You have nothing.
You have earned nothing. It's sad that you don't know the difference.
Yeah, that makes me think of like in Mario Maker, the like single player mode, the story mode. Just because I only comes to mind because I just recently beat it. I didn't like play much of it when the game first came out. It's like last week I was playing the story mode.
Yeah.
And in that you can do anything, any level you can't do in that. You can just like turn on Maker mode and like put blocks in or take blocks out and just act like it was the Maker mode. So it's like, yeah, you can beat any level in there by just like going around all the obstacles with like a bridge that you made
and altering it.
And altering it.
Well,
yeah.
you can do that.
Yeah,
and
you can just like do that, and so it's like, yeah, why not? It's story mode in Mario Maker 2.
Yeah,
like,
who cares?
If when you win, there's a little Mario if you beat it without doing that, and a little Luigi if you beat it by doing that. So.
Yeah, stuff
it
like that's a nice
it just
way.
recognizes whether you did it for real.
So I have to go
not.
back and get a little Luigi now?
What I'm saying is, in order to go back and get little Luigi's next to all your things, you're going to have to replay it.
Well, it'll be easier to replay this time for sure. I will make sure of it.
Yeah. So yeah, why not something like that? Like, who cares?
Who cares? It's a single player game. I've been playing a lot of Fire Emblem, like I said, and there's going to be a Fire Emblem crossover with Tetris 99, which is weird. There's going to be a Fire Emblem skin you can unlock if you play in the next Maximus Cup, which is August 23rd through the 26th. And I'm going to grind that out because I want to see what the hell that looks like. Splatoon didn't make a lot of sense to me, but then it did when I saw it's like the vibrant colors of the blocks. But what is this going to be?
Maybe the three houses.
There are houses falling down instead of the Tetraminos.
That's about all I know of Fire Emblem. I say the name of the title of the game.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see what it is.
I don't know enough about Fire Emblem to really have input, but anything crossed over with Tetris is suspect.
I'm in House Jigglypuff.
Well, David is excited for this, and he wants everybody to know that he won Tetris 99 3 times this past week.
Dang! GG,
So
David.
he's getting lots of first places, I guess.
I played that a couple times, and it's hard.
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
I respect.
I've played.
Big respect to David.
My Switch says I've played for more than 10 hours, and I still haven't gotten first place once. I've come close. But once you get into like the top 10, those things just start flying, and I feel like it's just luck. Like at that point.
Sure, but he did it multiple times, so
it's not
is
just
it,
luck.
Is it really luck?
It's like some percent luck.
Sure, yeah.
Frame perfect inputs. It's just a matter of frame perfect inputs.
Sounds like you're cheating yourself, Patrick.
Oh boy.
Not only yourself, but the game.
If you bought a Switch right before the new one came out, the slightly modified version 2 Switch, as we're calling it. That's a bummer, right? And there were some people reporting online that you could actually call Nintendo and they'd swap it out if you had bought it like after July 17th. And there are a bunch of articles about that, but turns out Nintendo has said that does not exist. So maybe they were doing it for a while and then word got out and they're like, we better cut the cord on this one.
It's exactly the same type of thing when they stopped letting you see Sonya's boobs in Mortal Kombat. Right? Like for a while it was real, for sure. But then like eventually they like made
They
a
had to
patch
patch it out, yeah.
And you couldn't get them anymore.
Back before they were downloadable patches.
Bullshit.
It's exactly like that.
It's exactly the same thing.
Just
a rumor mill a millin'.
Well,
Dang.
like in old video games before the internet was big, there were lots of rumors like that. And I remember like playing Final Fantasy 2 or 3. The internet was new, and but I had access to it, and like reading bullshit things, or like if you wander around in the desert for 10 hours, you'll get this unique item. And so I would like do it and then waste a shitload of time. Like, I never get those things.
I remember being at like summer camp in like middle school or something, and like telling friends about like rare Pokemon glitches that didn't exist, because there were some Pokemon glitches where like you could get a level 150 blah 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 that you aren't supposed to be able to get or whatever. And we knew about a couple of those. Yeah, sure. And then I would just be like, yeah, there's this way to get this Squirtle that like does like one attack and kills anything. Or like, and I was totally bullshitting.
You're the rumor mill.
I was the rumor mill at that summer camp that one summer.
Did you make friends?
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it work?
It was with all my friends. It was with all my friends. Yeah.
Then it was worth it.
The thing is that like Pokemon wasn't popular for long enough with my friends for them to like ever find out that it wasn't true. with my immediate friends at that camp.
It's the perfect scam.
Listen, if you're the kind of gamer who has trouble making friends, just lie to people.
Yeah, that's
our official advice. So there was an Indie World presentation, which is Nintendo's indie presentations that they do in Japan, and it was sort of a soft kickoff for the Gamescom conference, an unofficial thing that happened right on the day that they opened. So there were a lot of indie games shown off here, and the big ones that were kind of surprises that were actually being rumored, so that we weren't super surprises if you were following, but are still big games. Ori and the Blind Forest, which is big because that was a Microsoft exclusive game. Super Hot, which I've never played. Have you played Super Hot?
Hot's great.
You played it in VR?
Yeah.
That's
you guys
the way
played Super Hot?
to do it, as I hear.
No.
It's kind of like a first-person shooter, but like
time only moves when you move.
Okay, yeah, like you can kind of slow down things and stuff like that.
Well, a time is still until you move, and so as you move, like someone will shoot a bullet at you, but you can dodge out of its way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've watched people, or like footage of people playing it. It looks really cool to watch. I'm sure it'd be fun to play. Probably worth playing in VR, right? That's what I hear. The
Absolutely.
ultimate. But if you don't have VR and you want to play Super Hot, it's going to be it is on the Switch. They shadow dropped it. And they also shadow dropped Hotline Miami Collection, which I know a lot of people were excited about, which is a Devolver digital game. Matt?
The Drake game, right?
Is it the Drake game?
Shadow Drop means that it's available now.
Yeah, they announced.
I can go download these games.
Sounds like it's a Drake game.
Correct. So
that's awesome.
They did not announce that they were coming and give a release date. They just said it's available.
That's fantastic.
So those games are out.
Apparently,
also,
I don't get Drake references.
Sorry.
Also, Risk of Rain 2 is another big one that they, which is like a roguelike.
Yeah, I'm interested in that one.
And I watched this presentation. There were some other cool looking games, in particular Eastward, which is a Chucklefish game. Kind of has that Stardew Valley graphics. It has the Stardew Valley graphics, I should say, but it looks like maybe not the same sort of game as Stardew Valley. That looked interesting. Did you guys watch this presentation at all, or see any games that were interesting to you? Beyond that, no is a valid answer.
I'm excited to play Ori and the Blind Forest. I never played that, but I've heard nothing but great things.
Yeah.
Hey, what did Drake say about the game getting over
God damn it.
Started from the bottom, now I'm here.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm super proud of that.
Super good.
So, yeah, Gamescom, which is like the E3 of Europe. It's happening in Germany right now. I think it started officially like today, the day we're recording this, but there was an opening thing on Monday night, and it goes through Saturday. And there's been a lot of announcements added and around it, just like at E3, and a few Switch-related ones and non-Switch related ones. I'm going to run through these pretty quickly here. Witcher 3 got a release date, and they showed off footage, and it's going to be October 15th. And
Witcher 3 looks weird on the Switch.
You think so?
Yeah, there was a Polygon article or Gizmodo article, I don't know, a tech blog.
Yeah.
Posted it, and the headline was like, Witcher 3 shouldn't run on the Switch, but it is.
And I think the big draw there would be taking it with you portably, right? And in fact, I think David added this note. It said it looks amazing in handheld, not so much docked.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to buy it to play on TV, you should not buy it on the Switch. But if you want to play it on the go, that makes sense. I guess David's really excited about Super Hot because he put that on here too. And then David's also very excited. David's real excited about a lot of stuff, even though he's not here. Final Fantasy VIII got a September 3rd release date for $20, which is he's excited about.
Well,
This piece of paper literally says David is pumped on it.
He's pumped. What can you do?
It's in the show notes.
Remember when we were watching that trailer at E3 for like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and we were like, there's that weird moment where they show a 2D race?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they revealed at Gamescom that there's like several mini games that are 2D.
It looks really cool. I had no interest in playing this game until I saw 2D
Until
mode.
you saw the 2D mode with the retro graphics. Yeah, so I guess some of the mini games, either you have the option of putting them in 2D or they just are in 2D. I'm not sure because the previous trailer kind of like flipped between them. So, yeah, I guess that's making that game look a little bit more interesting because of that. Some other like Nintendo news, I guess they have like a contest at Gamescom, and Link's Awakening won the best Nintendo game that was at the show. So maybe we have that to look forward to.
Oh, I saw that interview, and I'm trying to think. It was like a marketing representative that was there
to accept the award. For like all these exclusive Nintendo games.
Yeah.
So for which one they pick.
And the person interviewing her was like, so what was it like just, being on the team? And she's like, well, I didn't make the game, but... And then had really nice things to say about the game.
But they're great people, and it's a great game.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't send a developer. So there's been a lot of other games and announcements, and we'll continue to talk about that, I'm sure, next week, because there'll be more. But
something I just thought of, it was weird that... before Gamescom, we talked about Indie World, that it wasn't called Nindies.
Well, so there are 3 different names that Nintendo uses for their indie presentations. They use one in Japan, and that's Indie World, and they use one in America, Nindies, and then there's the UK one, which I can't remember what it's called.
Who cares?
So every time,
branding is important.
So every time they do these, they're
in America and Japan.
They're based on the region, and they often even focus on developers from Europe or America. I don't think there's a lot of indies being made in Japan because there's not like typically focus on that. It's just kind of, it is weird. I agree. I don't know why they have that separate branding for the 3 different regions like that, but that's part of it.
I like Indie World. It translates better.
Maybe Nindies doesn't make any sense in Japanese.
Yeah, there's no way to
that pun doesn't like come across.
Right. But one other big Gamescom news that I thought was interesting is Sony acquired Insomniac Games and made that announcement.
That's pretty crazy.
Insomniac Games makes a lot of Sony exclusives, so
they
makes
made
sense.
the most recent Spider-Man game, Ratchet and Clank, and Sly Cooper come to mind.
And I think they also did Spyro. But at any rate, I think it just shows that that Microsoft and Sony are just trying to have as much exclusives as they can coming into the next generation. So I think that's exciting for video game fans because there's going to be like great competition with cool exclusives, I think, in the next gen.
Sick.
Just like the old days.
Hey.
We need another console war.
Yeah.
It's coming.
The giant war machine. Let's stir it up again.
Hey, what did Fat Joe say when he beat the game Getting Over It? Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up.
I think my rap knowledge is limited. I know who Fat Joe is.
He sings a song that goes
from
Nothing Can Stop Me. I'm all the way up.
There you go. Thanks for explaining that joke, Chris.
Getting Over It is a video game.
I know that part.
Some people might know that one.
That one I knew. It's that anyway. Last sort of news rumors. We've been hearing some rumors about a September Nintendo Direct, which makes sense because there has been a September Nintendo Direct like every year for the last few years.
Ooh, the rumors may be true.
But also it just feels like the timing is right. There's a lot of games coming out at the end of the year that they can talk about. We could hear about Banjo. We could in Smash. And I guess specifically there are people saying that there's a pattern that and I looked at it, it's true. Every time there is an Indie World presentation specifically, that there is then about a month later a Nintendo Direct, the last several Indie World presentations. And also Papagenos, who is a YouTuber who gets like people to give him leaks and stuff, said there was a GameStop employee that contacted him that showed there were a bunch of SKUs entered into their system like last night or a couple of nights ago. Like 15 placeholders just got added. So there's probably a Nintendo Direct coming in September because there's just probably one, but there's all that to pointing to it as well.
One of them is Little Town Hero.
Yeah, they might talk about that.
Chris.
I'm ready for it. I'm so excited for Little Town Hero because I know so much about it.
I'm here for it, and I'm ready for it to wash over us like a vivid dream.
Well,
it'll be a fun.
I expect we'll hear a lot more rumors about that, and we'll be talking about Nintendo Direct in September for the next few weeks.
That's exciting.
But I think
so much to look forward to.
That wraps up our news and rumors section, and now we can really dive deep, Chris and Chaz, with you too into the streaming sector. So real quick, just kind of like everybody listening probably knows what streaming is, but streaming is a online. What's the
community is probably a good
community where
word.
people play video games and broadcast that, right? Yeah. And I guess there's people streaming other things too, and that's increasingly common. But it's video games is sort of the major part of it. I guess Justin.tv was sort of the origin of a lot of this.
Yeah,
and then Twitch came out of that.
Yeah,
and then now we have other platforms as well where people stream video games, that's just sort of the big picture. I just want to make sure everybody knew about that.
Yeah, Justin TV was like the secret website I used to go to like steal pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's what I used to do too.
Yeah,
wrestling pay-per-views specifically.
Exactly. Yeah, mostly wrestling pay-per-views. But then like I only recently found out that Twitch had come from it, and I just think that's very interesting and funny because I remember that as like a shitty illegal place to watch things that I didn't pay for.
So. We should also say, to be clear, the two of you stream together.
Yeah, cooperative couch co-ops only.
As so far, in your streaming name is?
We are 2 kids in a big coat. The number 2 kids in a big coat.
Kids with an S. A lot of people want to spell it with a Z.
It's not spelled with a Z. We
the number 2 kids in a big coat.
Yeah,
and explain that name and kind of the shtick behind that because I like that a lot.
Sure. I mean, it's an old trope of the Little Rascals and a bunch of I
think it originated from vaudeville.
Yeah, it's just children who want to sneak into R-rated movies or buy alcohol will dress up like a man inside
like a grown adult
on each
man.
other's shoulders, like a grown adult man. It's also used on BoJack Horseman with the character Vincent Adult Man. Very, very well.
It's used across media. It's a very popular.
I think the first time it happened was in a book.
It transcends time, space, and media.
It's an icon I think that we can all identify with, and all people, at least I grew up in our culture, can they understand that when you're a kid you want to dress up like an adult and go and buy some naughty books.
Yeah.
And so beyond that, one of your screen names then is the head.
Yeah, he's the head and I'm the legs, because in the 2 kids in a big coat setup, you got to have the head and who can talk and has a beard.
Is that why you're the head?
And the legs, who has a lot of upper body strength. I do.
Yeah. I think.
Was there any debate about that? Who's going to be the head?
No, because the fact that I'm significantly larger than Chaz, it's way funnier for me to be on his shoulders.
If I'm carrying him, it's way funnier.
It was the obvious choice. There was no argument.
And it's also the reason why we can never actually cosplay as 2 kids in a big
coat. We would never be able to do the thing that
if we ever go to a convention or something, we can't actually do it because I can't physically. I don't think
I'm very
have
large.
you on my shoulders. So,
then why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into streaming or why you started and what it's been like so far?
I'm going to tell you the whole story from my perspective first. The whole story from my perspective first is that Chris asked me if I wanted to start Twitch streaming with him, and I said yes. And then he made it happen.
And so you just get to go along for the ride.
I'm pretty much along for the ride. Chris, do you have anything more to elaborate on how it started?
Honestly, not really.
Okay. That's fair.
I knew Mario Maker 2 was coming, and I was watching a ton of Mario Maker on Twitch.
It's one of the bigger games out there. I mean, obviously the biggest games out there are probably like, League of Legends, Fortnite, Hearthstone, and stuff like that. But there's a ton of people that stream Mario Maker.
And the truth of it is that I've been interested in Mario Maker for a long time. He kind of got me into watching a little bit of like Grand Pooh Bear and Ryukar and Carl Sagan and some various other folks. A little bit. I wasn't
Those
like
are my big 3.
Yeah. I was sort of easing into it for a while, and then I heard that Mario Maker 2 was coming out and it was announced, and I was like, oh my god! And he told me about it.
If you guys have never seen Grand Pooh Bear's reaction to the direct where they announced Mario Maker 2,
I haven't, but I've watched a lot of Pooh Bear.
Oh my God, his reaction is like the most pure joy. Like,
oh, that's great.
Oh, you gotta watch it. He like gets up and jumps up and down on his chair. He's like, yes, I get to work for a living for another 6 years. It's like very clearly like watching him get his contract renewed.
That's true. It is.
And it's like I was like moved. I was so happy for him.
Yeah, no.
Too, when
everyone immediately go to YouTube and watch Grand Pooh Bear's reaction.
If you haven't, yeah.
I like watching
so
him
beautiful.
because he's so good at the game. But recently, just you saying that made me think of this. I was watching him and he got like soft locked on a level, but he already had checkpoints, so he just had to wait for the timer.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
like, ask me
anything.
The AMAs, yep.
And so one of the people was like, "How are things?" And he's
interesting.
like, "How are things? Amazing. I get to play video games for a living, and I'm about to go to Hawaii to play video games, and I love my life."
Yeah, he's like 100% honest about about like how incredible that is.
yeah,
like,
I don't know how long it'll last, but it's happening right now.
Pooh will get salty, but it takes a lot for him to get salty. Like he's like grinded 100 hours into one level, and like that's how he got big. Is he grinded 100 hours into like U-Break or something on Mario Maker 1? But like he'll like die in the same place like 3 or 4 times, and his reaction will be like. And then he'll just do it again.
Yeah.
And it's just so sweet.
He's a pretty positive guy.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk for the rest of the hour about Grand Pooh.
Oh, yeah. So us.
We should talk about y'all and how you got.
Yeah, so I was watching a lot of Mario Maker on YouTube and Twitch, and then Mario Maker 2 was announced, and I was like, what an opportunity to like start a thing, right? Like, and I knew that I couldn't do it by myself. Like, I am better at creative projects with team members or a partner, which is
that makes sense.
Why I don't do stand up and I do improv.
There's somebody that holds you accountable then,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like you have a meeting with somebody or
exactly,
whatever.
yeah. If anyone holds me accountable, I will do everything for them. You can ask Chaz.
Yeah, he does everything.
But if it were,
I feel guilty all the time about how little I do.
if this was for me, I would have done literally none of it. But that being said,
And if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have shown up.
yeah, that's true.
How about that?
That's true.
How
Thank
about
you
that?
for being punctual. Yeah, I just thought it'd be like a perfect time to sort of get into it, like right at the start of the game. We could start on launch day, which we did. We had like 2 test streams before that, just fucking around. But like our first
make sure the
official
stream worked.
was on launch day, and then I just kept spending more money on it, and like building a green screen in my living room, and
The green screen that he built is dope.
and an entire PC that I probably didn't need.
You were saying like I'm thinking about buying a PC and like I can make it like for streaming. You were like considering a PC before.
Sure,
Or is
sure,
that what
I
you
have-
told me?
Yeah, no. Of course, I've come up with excuses as to why I spent $1,000 on a computer and $300 on lighting. That wasn't. Oh, it's for this stupid stream I do on Fridays.
Well, so what do you guys have mostly been streaming Mario Maker too?
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
exclusively.
Pretty much exclusively.
And
We've dabbled in a couple of other things for like here and there, but it's been all Mario Maker 2.
yeah, and honestly, I don't want to stream anything else.
Oh, that's great. That's
because
fine. Yeah.
Mario Maker 2 is such
It's
a
the perfect
beautiful
game to
community game.
Yeah,
right?
it absolutely
like,
is.
We get to have strangers come into our stream and give us things that they created, and then we get to show them how their things that we created can be broken uncontrollably.
by 2 people. That's one of the
Especially
big.
by
That's one of the
co-op.
big things about the streaming Mario
we didn't
Maker
even
that
get
I
into it.
love, which I think may be a point that's coming up in the
Yes.
in the docket
Well,
that I don't want to skip around.
no, we
to,
can
but
skip around. There's no
Okay.
schedule here.
okay.
Those are just to keep us
But
going.
I just want to
Cool.
talk about. We'll talk about co-op in a second. But I want to talk
Okay,
about
sorry.
Mario Maker. Yeah, it's a more interactive stream. I bet it's fun to watch us play your
Oh,
levels.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
try to give you all a new one every week. Doesn't know what's happened, but
Yeah.
And
well,
I
we appreciate
love
it.
getting
We
them.
love it.
It
We
makes
love
me
it.
so like all of them that we get are
But like, I bet you like watching your levels played more than you like watching Kyle's levels played.
Oh, sure, but I like enjoy watching
Sure.
y'all play in general too. But it
like-
is, of course, nice feedback. Yes.
Yeah, my point is Mario Maker allows that type of interaction where no other game
That's
really
true.
does.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there are like Smash guys who will like
Play
play up
against
against
you,
you,
or yeah.
that's cool. But yeah, so like that does happen. But Mario Maker feels specifically
there are
tailored
like
to that type.
there are
of
like
community.
StarCraft streamers that'll like do like feedback streams, like they'll cast a viewer's like game,
Right, and then tell them how to do it better.
and stuff, how to do it better. Like there's that kind of thing too. There's lots of community engagements in lots of games.
But
Mario Maker 2 is like you don't even have to be streaming it. You're engaging with the community.
Right.
It's the community. That's
true.
like all the game is.
It's such a great game for streaming for lots of reasons. Because of that, absolutely. Because of the endless nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And because of such the breadth of difficulty, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that like...
And the depth of variety, puzzles and
Right.
challenges and
Trolls.
short levels, long levels.
Well, let's then get into the co-op aspect because y'all stream it co-op and that
do.
changes the game quite a bit.
It's not the way it was meant to be.
and there's also not a lot of people doing that. I don't know.
I only know of one other dual stream out there. Not even necessarily Mario Maker. I mean, I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there
But
are
like
others.
I've looked specifically in Mario Maker and
There's
Southern
not
Sisters.
that many of them.
Right.
Southern
anyway.
Sisters Gaming.
They do
are
it?
two women from Arkansas. I think they're from Arkansas. Pretty sure. Who do co-op stream and like we have
Mario Maker.
Yeah, they do. They play Mario Maker. They play other things too. They do variety, but they also play Mario Maker. Yeah, they're playing Resident Evil right now.
Oh, sweet! I gotta watch them more.
Yeah, but on Sundays they play Mario Maker, and only one of them plays, so they don't play it co-op the way we do.
I know another group that does that too, and that's why I was like, y'all are the only people I know that do it all consistently, the two of you. But
Yeah,
I don't
please
think
give me the
I don't
name of
think
that
I've-
other group. I want to watch other dual stream.
I think they're called like Dad something or other. Oh, I follow them.
Yeah,
but
send
Get that
them
to
to
us
me
for
after
sure.
the thing.
Yeah.
But I do want to give a shout out to Southern Sisters Gaming because we like became friends with them. So like we're part of their community. I don't know if you've seen Nerd Girl in our
I
chat.
have, yeah.
That's Rach. That's one of the Southern Sisters.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They raided us on Friday. It was our
nice.
first raid.
And
Nice.
they've definitely like helped us out with some like Twitch newbie stuff, just
Yeah.
like how to use emotes and stuff like that we didn't know.
They're also
which was super helpful.
super engaging with their chat. They're like the chat queen.
Well, I imagine if you have one person. Well, and I know that's the streamer I was just talking about. That's their whole deal, right? Is one person's playing the game and one person's
person's reading
just
chat.
strictly engaging, which is an interesting idea.
they, That's what they do. They do a very similar.
Yeah, if you can
thing.
do that, then you can be really engaged with your chat.
Yeah, definitely, and it
So,
shows.
We're not. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So we play the game co-op, which I think, as far as I can tell, we're the only people playing Mario Maker 2 co-op.
That's
Which
cool.
I think for a couple of the streams was like challenging to balance the chat aspect with, especially since we were so brand new to streaming.
Yeah.
Like let alone by ourselves, but together, like also.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause you
it's
guys
a
are
skill
doing.
you'd learn,
You
yeah, for
guys are doing multiple things. You're playing the game. You're also like talking to each other to play through a co-op game, and monitoring the chat, and doing all the emotes and making sure the stream is working good. So you're like producers, directors, personalities, and gamers.
For
like,
sure.
While you're all streaming.
I think that's what's so impressive about
And
people
friends.
that are
Sorry.
really good.
Also friends. Yeah. No, it's important to. We are good friends.
That's part of our branding.
Friends
sorry.
with the Z.
What I find so
Yeah.
impressive about people that are really good at a
best.
game and can engage with their chat at the same time is like, we're talking about like Grand Pooh Bear or somebody like that who's just like doing these Kaizo tricks and
Sure.
also being like, ha ha ha, yeah, that is true to the, or whatever. And you're
Yeah.
like, how are you
Yeah,
doing?
following various threads in a chat that moves much faster than ours does with 10 viewers, right? When he has, I mean, he's talked about it on stream where he doesn't have a chat that moves like crazy fast, like the streamers with millions of viewers,
Yeah.
but like it's still like much faster than something that we're doing.
It's a pretty fast chat. Yeah. At that point, you just like have to relinquish the idea that you will get to all chat.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
So I was also kind of curious if you could, like, what's been some like surprises since you started doing this, or maybe some of your favorite moments? Has there been anything that kind of stands out on either end of that?
666 Andy is my favorite moment,
yeah.
I think.
666 Andy's
666
I've
Andy
seen, I've seen them in
it's
the
a
chat.
person that it's a person that's one of our followers, I believe. I don't think he's subscribed. If he's a follower,
fine.
no, yeah. So, that's not what I meant to bring up. I just wanted to call him the right thing. But it's a chatter, an interactor,
Yeah.
an audience,
And he
audience
makes
member,
levels,
a viewer.
too.
Yeah, and he had made some levels for us, and him making a level for us was someone we didn't know already.
Right.
It was like the first person that was someone that we didn't know already. And he was like from the UK. He would always sign off by being like, well, it's 4 a.m. for me now. I better get to bed because I'm in the UK. And it's like, okay, wild. Yeah. Good night, dude. And then he came in with a level for us like the third or fourth week that he showed up. And it was so
Yes,
awesome.
I
To receive
watched
level
that.
from a stranger for the first time.
Also, pixel art in the thumbnail that said 2 kids in a big coat made us just like our hearts soar.
Yeah. So it was a super cool moment.
So it's like he's giving you a gift of he's creating something for you to play, and he's also watching you enjoy the creation that he made for you.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible.
That's what makes Mario Maker so special. For me,
also named 666 Andy, which is like
yeah, he's great.
I love that.
He's so good.
That means a lot to me. But anyway.
We also have we've had several Euro people come in, like Duramino. Also,
we had like a German day where we had 3 or 4 Germans.
Duramino gave us a bunch of levels, and
I was wondering if that's
similar.
Maybe because of when you're streaming, but it sounds like maybe not. If it's
like
4
a.m. Yeah, like Duramino was like, "Hey guys, how you doing? I just woke up."
But I guess there's people everywhere that live on weird
times.
Yeah, and what else are you gonna do but watch Twitch? Also, probably 4 a.m. fun time to watch Twitch. Yeah. There's probably weird stuff on.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments, 66 Andy for sure.
Yeah.
But Falconic FF, who's another streamer, popped into our chat and gave us a level.
That was hard.
So hard. And it took us 2.5 hours
of
to
grinding
beat it, to grind it. And on one stream, we spent 2.5 hours on one level and beat it, and it was just like the best feeling.
Oh, that's
and like
awesome.
we kept being like, well, we gotta, we should probably play someone else's level, and everyone in chat was like, no, beat the level.
Because we were like, there's other people have submitted levels. We want to make sure we like get to them. It's like, yeah, we're gonna grind levels until like some levels we have to give up on. We've given up on a couple, but most levels we beat, and I'm very happy about
most levels. Yeah, I mean, there's especially like we're given Auto Marios because we're playing 2-player, we automatically
screw up.
Yeah, we're dead. So we never beat Auto Mario.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, right.
Somebody should make an auto
co-op auto level. Yeah, I'd love to play it. If you have one, definitely send it our way.
Also, but if you do that, how do you beat?
You make one of those contraptions.
You have to either make a contraption or like have some really tricky platforming way to beat it as well.
Yeah, we've tried to beat a couple of auto levels by platforming, like in an unintended way, but they were hard.
It's hard.
Completely impossible. Let's call them.
Well, I kind of want to like keep talking about Yell Stream for a minute, and then maybe move on to just sort of broader streaming as conceptually. But like before we do that, is there anything you want to share more about your channel, like future plans for the channel, or
I think this is where we dropped the bombshell. I think that's the question where we dropped the bombshell right now.
Absolutely.
Well, it's not that crazy of a bombshell, so don't get your hopes too high. But here we go.
We just commissioned someone to write us a full-length ska theme song about
the two kids in the big coat.
And that's gonna like play.
And it's good. We're gonna have it in like a week.
We're gonna open our streams.
We're gonna have it like I don't know how long it takes to edit one of these, but by the time this comes out, we're probably gonna have it already, and we're gonna open all of our streams.
I don't think we'll do it. We'll see.
Soon you'll be able to pick it up.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm a big ska nerd.
It's
I love
gonna
ska.
be so fun.
Do you just know someone who is in a ska band?
Yeah, the lead guitarist of the Holophonics.
Nice.
They're a Denton ska band. They're actually pretty good.
Yeah, check out the Holophonics.
Check them out.
Especially if you like ska covers. Look them up on YouTube. They have 1 million of them. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, they do like half of their albums are cover albums and half of their albums are originals.
Last question, though, again, y'all talk if there's anything you want to share. What about the decision to stream on Twitch versus like YouTube or any other
Facebook or Mixer?
Yeah, was there a decision, or did you just kind of go, this is where it's at? And
like I said, he asked me to do it.
I feel like that's where the audience is, right? Like we're looking to show people what we have, so we're going to go to the place with the most people. What was the
It would make more sense for me to do it on YouTube because I watch more YouTube. Like,
do you watch streaming on YouTube? You just watch videos.
No, I just watch videos. And here's the thing: I'm not like a big part. I don't like watch a lot of. I'm like getting into it now as I'm like doing it. But I wasn't previously like watching a lot of Twitch. And just that's
sure.
Well, nothing wrong with that. But but at the same time, everyone uses YouTube for the videos and not really for the streaming, and that Twitch is for the streaming. Exactly. That's why you do it on Twitch, right?
It sort of feels like.
And I hadn't heard of Mixer before until after we already started. So,
there's a YouTube.
Ninja's on Mixer now, so everything's different.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But there's a YouTube Mario Maker streamer I like called Chronoside. You should check out.
Sweet. Yeah.
And I don't know why he does YouTube. I'm sure there's some reason.
I mean, Ryukar started on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then ported over.
Well, something you were.
I don't know nearly enough about the differences between like how the business models work. If you're like professional streamers, I have no idea. I'm sure like having the right contract with the right place is all the difference.
I mean,
but
we're
not really
made upwards of $50.
Yeah, that's not what we're doing. So it doesn't really matter. I think which platform we're on. Yeah, we have made a cool 50.
It might make it.
Twitch won't give you your money until you make $100.
So we need to make another 50. So if you guys can please subscribe to it.
It might make it easier to just put your like streams on YouTube to already be on YouTube, right?
I do that. So we do have a YouTube channel, just no one knows about it.
That's
it's just
good to know.
It's just he archives them there, basically.
Archiving, all of our things. So that one day, if we ever get an editor, they can just go get them there.
I was wondering if we could like zoom out a little bit and talk about platform. Chaz, you were alluding to this idea of like, I don't watch Twitch that much. And it's like, for me, it's relatively new too.
Yeah.
But I remember 6 or 7 years ago when Twitch became more popular among my friend group, where people were like, oh, you can watch people play video games? Why would you do that? Why don't you just play a video game?
Right.
Yeah.
And so there's like this stigma associated with
because I'm
streaming.
not that good at
Yeah.
video games.
Yeah, maybe that's it too.
I have a distinct. This is what streaming always makes me think of and vindicates me in this like deep way. My when I was a kid, my friend that lived across the street from me came over and like we were playing video games, and I started going through Star Fox, I think, on the Super Nintendo. Or it might have been Star Fox 64. I think it was Star Fox 64. And we were going through the game, and we were towards the end, and I ended up playing like nonstop through the last couple levels for like a long time. And he was like enjoying watching me, and we were like into it, like beating the final boss. Like it was amazing. And I was doing that like by myself, but he was like hanging out and watching. And then he got yelled at by his mom later that night when he wasn't, like, he was just watching me play video games. And he told me about it later that he like got in trouble for that. And it was, and like in my mind, I'm like, oh, was I like being super selfish and you wanted to play? And he was like, nah. And I don't think so anyway. Maybe he was, I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to get all into that. But yeah, so Twitch streaming to me is like, yeah, it is fun to watch people play video games. When I was in college, I watched my roommate play World of Warcraft all the time because like he was like a high level World of Warcraft thing and he was doing cool shit.
The hell is your problem? We're Star Fox champions in this family.
You pointed this out, Matt. This is a pretty new thing. Like it's really, streaming has only really been popular since 5 or 6 years ago, right? And it's but it is vindicating that sort of childhood experience we all had, where it wasn't always fun to watch your friend play video games, but sometimes it was, right?
Yeah, like, and it's indescribable to explain that to someone who doesn't even understand playing video games, right?
And I think that's part of it. It's just like, but I think I was thinking about, you know, how like esports is big and people can accept that more because there's a competitive element to it. But I also think about like people like to watch people skateboard or something, right? There's sports that aren't competitive.
Yeah, right. Definitely. It's a great analogy.
Well, like on the other hand, like we're not great at this video game, right?
But you're entertaining.
There's different
to watch.
reasons to watch all kinds of different like
so
streamers and personalities. So I think that's one of the biggest, most amazing things about something like Twitch.
Yeah, we're mostly
just all the variety. You get what you want. Like it's out there.
Yeah, we're here to attract the audience that wants goofy fuckboys.
If you want to watch a couple of
goofy fuckboys, hit us up.
If you want to watch a couple of goofy fuckboys occasionally beat a level that it's more challenging than they should have any right to beat.
Well,
every Friday night, right?
Every Friday night.
Friday night, fuckboys.
I asked you this question on stream, but I'm gonna ask it to you again. It's like,
can we swear?
Fuck yeah. So this is a grown-up podcast.
Okay, gotcha.
About Mario.
Exactly, about Nintendo games. But like, you've been playing it now regularly. Are you getting better? Like, I mean, do you feel like even though maybe you're not that great at it, but you're much better at it than you were in June when it came out? You know?
I think so. It's hard for me to gauge because it's like a slow, gradual process. There hasn't been a moment where I was like, I wouldn't have been able to beat that level 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Like that's never happened.
We've literally beaten all whistles faster every time we've done it.
Oh yeah, you've been doing some Mario 3 speed runs.
Yeah,
too.
so that's another thing. We start off every stream with
world
Mario.
Record Mario.
Yeah, we should brag about that for a second. We're world record in Super Mario World 3 co-op. All whistles speed run, which is a category we made up. And we're world champions in for now. Every week we beat the world record because we keep getting better and better at Mario 3. Mm-hmm. The first record was like 30 minutes. It took us like 30 minutes to get the 3 whistles that are in Mario.
Well, 3. The first record what we were trying to beat was 4 hours and 20 minutes, and we shattered it with our 30-minute run.
We set a baseline of 4 hours 20 minutes, and we shattered that one right off the gate.
Very nice. Something you said to Chaz that I wanted to ask about too is like, you know, you said you're new to Twitch and there's this whole emotes, and there's like Twitch
emotes and bits and
Twitch has its own language and its own way of communicating, and that sometimes, especially for a newbie, hard to break into because there's like, what are all these little faces and they all mean different things. How do y'all feel about that? Do you have any thoughts on that? It's like its own community in that way.
Yeah, last year, well, I guess this year I went to PAX South where I met up with a bunch of friends that I met through Twitch. And the only weird thing is that they were significantly not very much, but they were younger than me. And so we have like different cultural references and stuff like that. But I'm like 30.
They would love my Drake joke.
Yeah, they might. But I'm like 35, and like I think the desire is like there's this platform which has a specific age audience. I don't know. I just want to make stuff, and sometimes it feels like if like TikTok or like Twitch feels as for a younger audience, that my friend group isn't in or using that platform, but I still want to use it because I want to stay relevant, you know?
Yeah, Twitch definitely has a way of making you feel relevant. There's a lot of like instant feedback on the things you're doing from like strangers. It's great.
Yeah, like game sounds too loud. Game sounds too loud.
Well, we should close out the talk and move on, but is there any other sort of general thoughts about streaming? Like why is streaming becoming such a big thing? Why is there such an audience for it? Anybody have any thoughts about that? Or like, why is it is it just because technology is at that point and you know, people who are into video games have aged enough? And do you have any thoughts on that? No?
It's all of those. There's a lot of compelling reasons to watch streamers. I can imagine that the people that are consuming a lot of streaming, it's a great thing to watch directly and like actually sit there and interact with the chat while you're doing it and like be very engaged, or like to have another voice in the room talking while you're like doing something else and cleaning up or writing a paper, or I don't know what else.
That's what I do all the time. Just put on a Twitch stream of somebody's that stream, and then just like run in the background, maybe pop into the chat every now and again.
Right? Yeah. It's so versatile. I don't know. That's got to have something to do with it.
I think
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think maybe it's like people who this is their thing and it didn't exist before, right? Like they're not people who want to watch Big Bang Theory or some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is a younger generation, like you're saying, but it's like the venue that they needed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something interesting about Twitch is you get the opportunity to interact directly with your entertainment. And people straight up love hearing their own name. Again,
that's true.
The reason I listen to your podcast is because you fucking name check me in every episode. Right? It's the same with the people in chat. They were
That's
like,
a really
hey, 666 Andy, you know?
That's why
thanks for stopping by again.
And that's why they pay the money to have their name read.
Exactly.
Kind of that's a good point.
Yeah, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. I'll say your name.
All the juice are when there's like 4,000 people watching or something, and you can pay $5 and get your name read, right? Like it's a big thing.
That's
4,000's like as if that was a huge number on Twitch.
Right, but
there's like people that have millions. I watch like Mario Maker. 4,000's like not
pretty big,
not small.
Cool. Well, any other final thoughts on streaming before we move on?
It's fun. It's
real
real fun.
Yeah.
It's very fun. It's a fun hobby.
It's cool.
I always say that in the worst case scenario on Friday nights is that literally no one checks into our stream and I'm playing video games with my buddy for 5 hours.
Right.
That's the worst thing that can happen.
And that's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
So final note is 2 Kids in a Big Coat. Check them out on Twitch. Friday nights. What time? Central time?
Central time, 7 to midnight usually.
7 to midnight-ish.
Cool.
Central time.
So everybody...
And sometimes we stream on Tuesdays. It's called Operation Tuesday.
Operation Tuesday.
We do. So we text each other. It's like, is Operation Tuesday on? And it's like, nah.
We have to record a podcast.
Yeah, today, for example. But yeah, sometimes on Tuesday nights, but check us out.
Nice. Well, now we'll move on to the part of the show where we talk about the games we've been playing recently. Anybody want to take the lead on this?
I'll go first.
All right.
The VR version of No Man's Sky came out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
that's gotta be
I don't
cool.
do drugs, but if I did, this game would be perfect for it.
Yeah? What's it like in VR? Is it the same, but it's just cool because it's in VR?
It feels like a game made for VR.
Like taking off from a planet and going into space in VR? Is that
of all games that had like an incredibly, I feel in my memory, disappointing launch, it seems like No Man's Sky is it's perfect. If it had just been released in VR originally, it wouldn't have had any of the problems that it had before. because it would have been like, oh, that's what it is.
At least
it's a VR game, and you like explore space. That's all you want from it.
The hype level for that game
was
nuts.
It was huge.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, it's just you're on an empty planet.
I will say
like, you can mine.
But if you could be on the empty planet, like looking up into space and like with your VR headset, and then say like I could travel in that direction forever. Like,
and I can
gotta feel pretty cool.
send my location to my friends, and my friends could come to this planet, and we could build a base together. And we can like mine stuff on the planet.
Is that a thing you can do?
Yeah,
I'm sold.
Sick.
The game,
I
feel like No Man's Sky is probably the only game that has redeemed itself so well after a shitty launch where everybody was pissed and wanted their money back. Like they've added so much to that game and actually fleshed it out to be what they kind of promised early on.
Yeah,
and lots of different free updates.
I feel like Diablo 3 had a similar
it's not
launch.
The only one.
Like stuff comes out and then gets redeemed sometimes, but like not like No Man's Sky. It sounds like if this VR thing's as you described, not like No
That's
Man's
true.
Sky.
There are other games, but it feels like one of the more iconic ones.
Sure,
like
yeah,
that.
definitely the peak of the pinnacle.
To put it in perspective of like the No Man's Sky Reddit community bought a billboard across the street or on around Hello Games, the developer, and they just said, "Thank you, Hello Games." That's how
much of a turnaround from when people were like writing them nasty letters.
I thought you were going to say they bit like during the bad part of the No Man's Sky that they bought a billboard to say like "fuck you" across the street.
No, they say thank you for like
for saving the game.
Yeah, for saving the game. We bought your game and you supported the game, and that means you supported the fans, and we will play your game.
That's
an amazing story. I'm so happy to
on
hear
your
about
redemption.
Yeah, dang.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like super fun to be in VR. I don't know. You just something VR in general is something you have to experience. You can terraform planets now, so you can like delete some of the land, but you can also make new ground.
That's cool.
I made a dick.
Got to.
Of course.
Got to.
Absolutely.
And that's what I've been playing.
Nice.
What about y'all?
I've been playing Mario Maker 2 on Fridays.
Chris plays Mario Maker
You
2.
been playing anything else?
I have not finished, but thanks to Mr. Matthew Stoner, I was playing What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh yeah, what do you think?
I think it's really adorable and sweet and interesting. I haven't gotten much further than the last time we talked, which was I'm a little bit past the giant monster. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's a storytelling game, pretty simple first person perspective that you just sort of walk in and interact with things with one button. But it's mostly a story, and it's really unique and fun.
Nice. Chaz, you have anything?
I've been enjoying the most recent Hearthstone expansion. Hearthstone's something I play like every time a set comes out for the first like couple weeks that it's out, and I have fun with it, and I don't spend more than like $20, and then I'm and then I don't play it for a few months. I think it's great for that, yeah,
nice.
That not really playing much else right now. I'm almost last game that I put down right before Mario Maker 2 came out was Cuphead. I had almost finished Cuphead. I was very excited about that, but then Mario Maker 2 came out. No, I didn't finish it.
That's probably a hard game to jump back into.
I'm gonna jump back into it at some point.
Can you play that co-op?
Yeah,
I think you can.
Cool. Yeah, it's Cuphead and Mugman.
Yeah. Y'all should do that.
And we should probably consider it.
We will. It will be on the docket.
Yeah, it'll definitely be on the docket. But that game was incredible. I'm super excited that there's like a series coming out. You guys have probably talked about it on here, but
yeah, I think we mentioned that in the news that there was a Netflix show announced for it,
and I'm excited about that.
That game's beautiful.
The art style of that game is incredible.
And there's like a DLC or a free DLC coming too soon with like the third character. I forget her name. It's like.
Oh, thank God we get a sexy lady.
Chalice or something like that, girl. Something. Anyway.
Yeah.
I have been playing Mario Maker 2 and Fire Emblem, and that's it. I haven't fired up another game. That's all I'm playing. I feel like I'm really starting to hit my stride with the level creation in Mario Maker 2 as well. Like
Bring it on, son.
That's my favorite part of the game.
I plateaued. Like I put so much time into making levels the first few weeks it was out, and then I like kind of burnt out a little bit because each level takes like hours and hours and hours to make. You know?
Yeah. I feel like I can really get lost in it in a way that I can't with every video game, and that's fine. But like, I really will start making a level, and then it's like, oh shit, it's 2 hours. I better start getting back to bed. You know what I mean?
Like, I finally finished this part of the level, and it's like, wow.
I'm really digging it.
Yeah, it's super cool.
And I'm really digging Fire Emblem too. It's just really interesting story, and like I'm. If this isn't going to mean anything to any of y'all, but maybe if you're listening out there and you played Fire Emblem, I'm on the Black Eagles route, and I had a big decision that's like the game like goes bum 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 bum. This will affect this decision will affect the rest of the story.
I'm glad that it's explicit about that, because games where they're not explicit are like you do something that you're like goofing around and you're like, you've changed the story.
right. But it's like a mild panic too. Like I was playing it and like it showed me that, and it was like a huge choice.
Oh wow!
And I'm like, fuck, I can't do it. I'll play Mario Maker for a while, and I'll sit on
save, come back.
Is there really a sound effect that simulates a heartbeat?
When it's
there's one in Mario Maker too.
Yeah, when you're about to make the choice in Fire Emblem, it does. It's like,
that's a sound effect you can apply it to
a zone or an item or whatever.
Yeah. The sound effects in Mario Maker are like a whole nother level. My kid loves them.
It's literally a whole nother level when you're making the level. Like the game.
My kid loves putting them in his levels, but like when I play a level where they're done really well, I'm like, damn, I really need to start messing around with them more.
Yeah, they're so good when they're done well. Yeah. Definitely they can be overdone and annoying.
Yes.
But it's so fun.
If it's done right, it can be really
the right
impressive.
Little ooh or ha 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 or like boing. It just works.
My favorite story about someone making a big decision in a game is my buddy was playing Elder Scrolls and he was a Khajiit, which is the cat people. Yep. And he was like really going for it Khajiit style. Like he would only eat fish and like
really role playing.
He's like
out in the sun a lot. Yeah, he was like role playing as this Khajiit, and he was in this town that had like a lot of information that he needed, and he killed a dog. And everyone in the town immediately knew it was him. And no one in the town would talk to him anymore.
That's awesome.
I feel like in those games, the choices you make are like, or do you want to be evil or really evil? As opposed to like somewhere it's a like good and bad choice. Like when I first started playing Skyrim and the choices are happening, I was paranoid at first. Like, am I doing the right choice? But then I realized all these are terrible choices. Yeah. It's like nobody in this game is good. Yeah. Anyway, total aside, I think that wraps it up for the show.
Does it?
Yeah, I think so. Thanks so much. Two Kids in a Big Coat for being on the show.
In a big coat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us and letting us talk about ourselves for a little while. That's very flattering, and I love being here.
Will you re-listen to this episode to hear your own voice?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Yeah.
But I will skip through anything where you guys talk.
I do that.
Twitch.tv/2 Kids in a Big Coat if you want to check us out.
You can also check us out on Twitter. We've never posted there, but we technically
have a Discord. We have a Discord
that we've never used yet.
One of the text rooms is called Being Friends, and it's about how great it is to be friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you ever want to just hang out and talk about how great it is to be friends, come on over to our Discord.
Yeah.
Is your community called The Coat? Coming into the Coat?
Yes, it's
nice.
Yeah, the Coat is now open when we start the stream, and like welcome to the Coat whenever people join us.
Our community is called the Coat, yeah. And if you follow, then you've joined us in the Coat, and if you sub, then you now live in the Coat with us and pay rent.
It's a big coat for all.
Yeah,
it's a big coat.
Well, thanks to Corduroy for giving us the music. Thanks to everyone out there for listening to the show. Send us a message, superswitchheads@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook. Join our Facebook community. Join the Coat community as well. Tell a friend about the podcast. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
It's a good podcast. You listen to it.
I've enjoyed some of the parts that weren't about me.
So here's the real question: Who's gonna give David's nice little ending to the podcast? Who's gonna say it?
How about we all do it?
Okay.
At the same time.
Well, thanks everybody for listening, and
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.